morning, students. Today we will be discussing the types of SQL commands. It will be giving you a brief overview of what are the various categories of SQL commands. Now, structured query language, as we all know, is the database language by the use of which we can perform various operations on our existing databases, and we can also use this language to create a new database. There are certain commands like create, drop, insert, delete, and so on that are required to carry out the basic operations in your database, and these commands comes under various categories of SQL commands. Now basically there are four categories of SQL. One is DDL, that is data definition language. Another is DQL, data query language. Then data manipulation language and data control language. Now let's see one by one what all these categories mean. Data definition language. Basically it consists of the SQL commands that can be used to define the whole schema of the database, and here we can describe the database schema and is usually used to create and modify the structure of the database objects in the database. So in this category there are various commands that helps in defining our database schema or making alterations in the schema and so on. So the commands that are included under this category are create, drop, alter, truncate, rename. Now create command. There are two create statements available in SQL. One is used for creating the database and another one is used for creating the tables in the database. So what is a database? Basically a database is defined as a structured set of data. So in SQL, the very first step whenever you want to store a data is to create a database first. So how do you create a database? The syntax for creating a database is create database and then mention the name of the database by which name you want to create this particular database. Next is once the database has been created in your SQL software or in your DBMS software, RDBMS, the create table command is used to create the table in that particular database. Whenever you want to create a new table, you have to use create table command. Now, we all know that the table comprises of rows and columns. So all the information, that means the rows contains the field names or the attributes that are defined in the create table command. So the syntax for the same is given in the slide. Create table, then define the name of the table, then within the brackets the first field name, its data type and size, then the second field name, its data type and size, and so on. As many number of columns you have in your database, as many fields you have to define. So here is an example. Create table, table name, specify the first field name, its data type, and within the bracket specify the size. Then again second is your again the field name, varchar is the data type, size is 20. Size means that maximum 20 characters are allowed in this particular column. Varchar int, varchar means variable character, that means both the characters, variables, and if any special characters are to be entered can be easily entered in this type of database. Next is your drop command. Basically drop command is used to delete the whole database, or you can just delete a particular table also. It destroys the objects like an existing database, table, index or view. So drop statement removes the component from the database. So the syntax for the same is, if you want to drop any of the objects, you have to write down drop object and the object name. For example, if you want to drop or remove the table from the RDBMS, you have to write drop table, table name. If you want to remove the database from the RDBMS, then you have to write drop database, database name. Next DDL command is alter command. Basically this command is used to add, delete, drop or modify the columns in the existing table. So it is also used to add or drop various constraints in the table. So alter command is used whenever you want to make the changes in the structure of the table and not the records of the table. So there are various variations with alter command. One is the add keyword is used basically to add a new column to the existing table. So if you have already created a table and now you want to add a new column to your table, you can use alter table along with the add keyword, and the syntax is as given in the slide. So alter table, table name, add, and then within the brackets specify whatsoever columns you need to add along with its data type and size. And please ensure that you end all the statements with the semicolon. That will denote that this is the end of the command. Then alter table command can also be used with the drop keyword. Whenever you want to drop a particular column from the table, then you can say alter table, table name, drop column and the name of the column. Again, if you want to modify the existing columns, then maybe you want to change the size of the column, you want to change the data type of the column, then you can use the modify word. So if you are using different types of software, so maybe the syntax might vary in different softwares. So somewhere we write the alter keyword and somewhere we write the modify keyword. So alter table, table name, modify, and then mention the name of the column that you want to modify along with its data type, and if in case you are changing the size also, you have to mention the size also. Next variation with alter table command is the rename keyword. So if you want to rename the table, so what you can do is you can say alter table, table name, rename to mention the new table name. So first you mention the previous table name and then you mention the new table name that you want to give to the alter table command. So here you can see in Oracle we write it or alter table, table name, rename column, and then you mention the previous name and then you mention the new name. So these are the variations, certain small variations that are there. As per the software you are using, you have to change the syntax of the statements. Then truncate command basically is used to mark the extents of a table for deallocation, or you want to empty the memory for reusability. So the result of this operation quickly removes all data from the table and bypassing any integrity constraints. Maybe you have mentioned foreign key, primary key, anything constraints that you have been mentioning here. It will not take care of any of the constraint. It will simply delete the things from the RDBMS and they won't be existing physically after this. You won't be able to regain them. So here it means that the data will be deleted but the structure will remain there in the memory. That means if you have entered roll number 1 or something like this, name of the student, so the data, the records will be deleted but the basic structure will remain as it is. Then DQL, data query language. So these are used for performing queries on the data. Whenever you want to fetch certain information from the database, you can use DQL commands, that is the select query. So select column name from table name where you mention the criteria based on which you want to fetch the records. So where clause can have n number of variations, like where roll number is equal to 1, or where name is name like a percentage, means name is starting with alphabet A, or where your marks are between 40 to 100 or marks greater than 50% and so on. So in where clause you have to mention the criteria on the basis of which the rows are to be fetched. Then comes the data manipulation language. The SQL commands that deals with the manipulation of data includes insert, update and delete command. So the name itself gives you the meaning. Insert means you are inserting a new row into the table. Updating means you are updating the existing record in the table. And deleting means you are deleting some few or all the records from the table. So the syntax you can see in this slide: insert into table name, then mention the values, value 1, 2, 3, and please specify the order in which the column names are there. You have to enter the records in the same order. If in your table you have mentioned roll number, name, address, so whenever you are inserting the record into the table, the order should remain same. So first value should be the roll number only, second should be name only, and third should be the address only. There is another method in which we specify both the columns which we want to fill and their value. So sometimes we are entering partial records. So here we need to enter both the column name and the values that you want to enter in those particular columns. So the syntax for that is insert into table name, then within brackets mention the name of the columns in which you want to enter the values, and then write down the values and mention all the values that you want to enter. Now what is the difference between insert and select command? Basically, whenever you want to insert something in your table, first you have to insert the records using the insert command, and then you can fetch the values or view those records from the select query. Now we have used the select statement to copy the data of selected columns only from the second table and insert into statement of the first table. So whenever you want to copy specific rows from one table to another table, and this too is not applicable to all the softwares, in few softwares this feature is available. So here you can write insert into table and then write down select all from the other table, where basis on the condition you can fetch the data and those rows will be automatically inserted into the another table. Next is your update command. The update statement in SQL is used to update the data of an existing table in the database. So you can update single record also, or you can update multiple records simultaneously also. So the syntax for this is update, then specify the name of the table, then set column 1 is equal to whatsoever value you want to give to column 1, then column 2, and so on, where give the condition. For example, if I want to update the marks of roll number 1, earlier it was 50, now I want to update it to 60. So I will be writing update student table set marks is equal to 60, where roll number is equal to 1. So this is how the update command is to be used. So wherever the record is there in which the roll number is specified as 1, the marks will get updated. Now the update statement in SQL is used to update the data of an existing table. Now please note here there is a difference between insert and update command. Insert means you have to add a new row into the table, and update means the row is already there, the record is already there, you just have to update it. Next is your delete statement. Now in delete statement, it is used to delete the existing records from the table. You can delete a single record or you can delete multiple records also, depending on the condition as per the criteria that you have specified in the where clause. So if you have written delete from student where roll number is equal to 1, so the records where the roll number is equal to 1 will get deleted. And if you simply write delete from table name, then all the records from those table will get deleted. Now comes the data control language. Basically it comprises of two commands, grant and revoke. It basically deals with the rights and permissions that are given to the users who are working on the database, because there are few users who are allowed to make the entries or updations in the databases, but at the same time there might be some users that are only allowed to view the records. So grant and revoke. So grant gives users access privileges to the database, and revoke withdraws back the permissions. So read only, write only, read, write permission, access permission, all these permissions are given by the grant command, and revoking means you are taking back the permissions. Maybe sometimes the employee leaves the organization, and due to security reasons you don't want that employee to further access your database. So in this case, revoke command is basically used. So this was all about the brief description about the categories of various SQL commands. Thank you so much.